Hello everyone, my name is Fernando, and today we'll be continuing our Kerbal Space Program 2 series. Last episode we went to the moon, got some science, and today we'll be doing quite a few missions. To help with that, I installed two mods. One is the alarm clock mod, so I can know the transfer windows in advance, and the second one is the Orbital survey mod, so that I can find all the biomes. Some of them are very hard to find. I have not been able to find where the raid craters are on the moon. I know there's a biome, it's on the wiki. I have not been able to find without it. Anyway, those are the two mods installed. The names are in the description, and as I said before, they were installed using CKAN. Now I'm just going to one of the crafts I have in orbit. This one has no battery, it's a piece of junk, but it lets me look at the alarm clock window, which lets me set up those transfer windows. Just gonna do one for each of the major planets except Ilo and Moho, because I'm not going to them even if I had the transfer windows. And I was incredibly surprised by this. Look, as you can see here, the Dres transfer window is in half an hour. so I have to do design a quick rocket for this. Ain't that fun? Now to build the rocket, I had to go real quick to the R&D center to unlock the better probe cores, because I would need the better antenna for this. The probe would not have communications with Kerbal if I didn't. I'm placing the two biggest solar panels I have right now, and quite a lot, and the two inflatable tanks. Those are so good for deep space probes, for light probes, because the tanks themselves weigh almost nothing. It's pretty much entirely fuel. For the rocket itself, I went with a 3-stage design: an ascent stage, a orbital insertion and transfer stage, and finally then the probe itself, which has 2.7 kilometers of delta V. I think I did not over-engineer this too much, but let's see. As for the probe, I named it after Demeter. The reasoning for this was that, well, the Dres is the analog for the dwarf planet Ceres, which is the Roman name for the god of harvest. The Greek equivalent is Demeter. Now, as you can see here, we're not even in orbit yet, but here's the alarm clock. The transfer window for Kerbal to Dres, just in the nick of time. I did not end up deorbiting this ascent stage because of this. I was like, okay, I'm gonna need extra delta V. It's fine. It's fine. Surely I'll have time to deorbit all of this stuff later. I know I can just delete it, but what's the fun in that? Now I'm setting up the maneuver node and I'm noticing something quite concerning. Dres is not even close to where I will be when I reach its orbit. Not in the slightest. Did the maneuver node lie to me? Did the alarm clock lie to me? Someone is lying. It could be because Dres orbit is so eccentric that sometimes when you should do the transfer window is incredibly hard to predict, but that I'll deal with that later. For now, let's design our Moon Surveyor. The Selene 3 probe will be using the same antenna as the last one to make us a map of the Moon. There's a problem though. What I wanted was a biomap. This is only a visual map. To do a biomap I needed a different antenna, which I did not have unlocked right now, and I also didn't know about the mechanic. Shame, but it's still a cool probe, I guess. And the nice thing about this is that since this is such a small probe, I can use I don't need to use 2.5 meter parts and have a, well, weird looking rocket. Silly looking rocket. Is better actually. Now for a quick and simple mission. This rocket has more than enough delta V to do it, to get to the Moon, put in a polar orbit, and, well, circularize. One interesting thing about the Orbital Survey mod is that the actual antenna requires your orbit to be at 500 kilometers of altitude. Well, it doesn't require 500 kilometers of altitude, but it's the ideal altitude. It still works between 100 kilometers and 1,000 kilometers. But from what I understand, you want to put the satellite at 500 kilometers. So that's what I did. As you can see, the fairings got stuck on the rocket yet again, and for some reason one of the decouplers is overheating. It started overheating at the end there. I have no idea why. It makes no sense to me. Here you can see me quickly testing out the Orbital Survey. Here's me correcting the inclination of my orbit, putting it at more or less exactly 90 degrees, so that we can scan the entirety of the Moon. As I said, 500 kilometers of altitude is what we want to stay at, so I make that our orbit. And I start scanning. It's incredibly annoying how many times I get that pop-up of running out of energy, but it's working. The mod does make this a science experiment. Doing this should net me a bit of science. I will not be using that part of the mod because I think it's mildly cheating. Like, we're not lacking for science things. Anyways, I quickly go to the Demeter probe because it ran out of energy at some point. And I was like, what? Why? And it was in this shadow of carbon for a long time, that's why. Now we're doing our Dres insertion burn. We're doing our Dres transfer. And I don't know why the ascending burn maneuver node there kept changing every time I opened the map window. That's another bug, and I think that's base game Kerbal Space Program 2 bug. The bugs are coming in mass today, it would seem. I considered putting the thing in hibernate, but I didn't think it was needed. I just kept spinning the rocket until I thought, the solar panels will be facing the sun when I get to the maneuver node, it will be fine. Then I go back to the probe and finish scanning the Moon. Now I spent a bit of time here wondering, well, I have the map of the moon, but I want region. I want to know what the region is. And after some googling I found out this is not the right antenna for it. That antenna only does mapping. It doesn't do biomes. Shame, I'll need to do another mission, but that's fine, it's cool. It's still cool doing this. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. And on the next one, we'll be preparing for a rather big moon mission. We'll be collecting all of the science. See you next time.